Johnny, I want to do my intro.
Hold on. There, play with that.
You can see yourself.
Okay. I think she's good.
All right. Hello, everyone, and welcome to the first ever Lovely Talks. We have our beautiful hosts with us, Bobby.
That's me,
Billy Bob Bobby, as we call him.
Bobby's our host.
I'm hosting.
And then, of course, Johnny.
Hi. It's me.
Beautiful, beautiful cast here. Thanks to me. I put all the makeup on our guests.
Should we introduce our guest?
Actually, that's a good segue. I would love to introduce our
Go ahead
guest.
and grab her.
This is our first ever Lovely Talks guest, introducing Violet. Everyone clap.
Yay.
So, Violet, what is it like having a crap dad? Thank you for being on the show.
Speechless.
Speechless.
So good she couldn't even say words.
Also, you probably want to give a good shout out to Jay and Jacob,
Absolutely.
who just had their son.
Yeah.
So everyone give a hand clap for them.
Yeah. He looks like a healthy, very long baby boy.
Yeah, it's going to be very tall.
That is
gonna be a very tall baby.
very lanky.
Thank you, baby, for your input.
Thanks.
So I wanted to kind of ask you, Johnny, what it's like to actually be a father, since so many of our friends are actually becoming fathers. What's the one thing you could say to like first-time fathers, like you're speaking to Jacob?
If I'm speaking to Jacob, you got this, man. You're good. Like, you're smart enough to take care of a child. You just kind of do, like, when you eat, you feed it a little bit.
Do you feed it what you're eating?
Sometimes.
I don't.
No,
I
it
don't think
eats
that's how that works.
powdered milk. It's called formula. Mm-hmm. I didn't know this.
Is there anything like emotionally you want to say? Not like feeding it?
Oh, emotionally?
Yeah.
I mean, yeah. Well, you're gonna realize, like, okay, so like I never wanted kids, and then, it was.
That's great to say.
I mean,
We'll have to show this kid this later on.
I was an accident myself. I was not planned, and so were my other two siblings. But it's funny because never wanting kids, I never realized I could love something so much. Every time I look at it, I'm just like, ah. But I will say, I am a little different than your normal parent. The reason I never wanted to have kids is because I don't like the world we live in, and I don't think that a child should be brought into it. And
I would love to elaborate on that one day.
Yeah, one day. But that was my whole reasoning for not having kids. And it's funny because all my friends are married, but I was not.
Yeah, he's
And
meaning
then
me and Bobby.
I was the first one with a kid at 29 years old, by the way, not 21, not 19. Which there's nothing wrong with that, I guess.
Why even bring it up?
But no, well, I mean, like, come on. If I had a kid when I was 21, I freaked out. I would have not. I'm still not mentally ready for this crap.
So, what's one thing, in your opinion, that you were not prepared for when it comes to this? And obviously, I don't mean Violet herself, because that's a given. But what's one thing you didn't expect until you became a father?
It's hard to say, man, because and this is going to piss some people off, but it's a hell of a lot easier than I thought it was going to be.
Doesn't it get difficult when the baby gets older, though?
I think when she starts being mobile and she starts running around and stuff. But I mean, I've heard stories of endless crying and people being up, 2 or 3 hours or something. She sleeps through the night and she's awesome. So it's a lot easier than I expected it to be. And, her mother helps out a lot as well. So
I mean,
kinda
she
have to
had
go
it.
with
She
that.
kind of did the hardest
Yeah,
thing.
she did do the hard part. I just kind of sat back and watched.
So if you do, viewers, hear crying, it's the baby. It really has something to say, but it doesn't speak English yet, so we're going to have to silence it. Can we
mine
silence
is,
that baby, please?
It's baby silence.
Baby.
She's 4 months old on the 24th, so she's still very young.
How old until she does taxes?
Yeah.
Well, I got about
Like, can she do my taxes?
3 or 4 years, yeah.
Okay.
Is she good at math?
Oh, that's a one baby sweatshop right there.
Is she?
Bobby, do you have anything to kind of... Are you watching sports?
No.
While we're doing a podcast?
I am not.
I can see it right there.
It's right there.
You're
That's
watching sports.
No,
it's
that's-
obviously sports
that's my-
playing on your
That's
phone.
obviously sports. Someone's interviewing someone right now.
That's my screensaver.
Is there a game going on?
That's my phone screensaver.
What game is
Who's
going
playing
on?
tonight? Oh, wait. Mississippi State.
Yes.
Yes, of course. It's always
Are they playing
Mississippi.
right now?
No, but they'll be playing LSU.
So you're not even
garbage.
watching the game. You're just watching
Like pregame, like not even the game. He's watching the interviews. And he
If
can't even hear. There's no subtitles.
if you roll it back, I have not looked at my phone once until you guys made a comment about my phone.
Then why do you even have it on?
Because the game starts in like 20 minutes.
He's prepping.
He is.
That's so beautiful, Bobby.
preparing.
Let's get back on topic with fatherhood. Do you have something you want to say to Jacob to help him out? Because you might have friends that had kids or are currently pregnant.
Okay. Jacob, I don't have a child. So everything I say after that is taken with a grain of salt. Because I don't know what it's like to have something that's
This is
like
all getting
even
cut
smaller.
out. This whole thing.
Make sure that you water it daily and that it gets enough sunlight.
Yep.
If I also take it for walks. House training, it's important. You want to make sure it's trained to know what your house looks like.
Why is that?
Okay, have you ever seen the movie Taken?
Yes.
So if the baby gets taken, you want it to be able to get back to your house.
Oh, I thought you meant like memorize the map out of your house. So like if it's
No.
Daredevil situation.
Yeah, no. What you said makes sense. Let's do that. also, love it. Love it like a plant. Love it like, okay.
You know, I think I'm gonna interject here and say my little 2 words to Jacob. We'll get back to that. Is that cool with you?
That's
It's
fine.
cool with me. All right. So Jacob, much to what Johnny is saying and what Bobby is saying, as I don't have a kid either, but I know people have kids. You know, I know Rich. I've seen him a couple times with his kid.
Yeah.
Best thing to do is always put it in a holster, much like a gun,
Yeah.
because they projectile vomit a lot apparently. So you never know when it's gonna go off. But you're gonna do fine. You're gonna do great. Better than fine. Better than Johnny over there.
I will say this, aside from having books to read and apps to take care of your kid and stuff, Jacob, it will naturally happen. You will just kind of know what he needs and what to do whenever he's hurting or needs something. You just kind of know. It's weird.
Congratulations, Jay and Jacob. That's what
Yeah,
we're trying
congrats.
to say. So I kind of want to segue from this to something that's been really tearing on my heart lately. The fact that our buddy over here, one of our hosts, Billy Bobby over here, has not seen a lot of movies apparently.
Classic
movies.
Like it's ones that should not be seen.
Bobby, can you list the movies you have not seen by importance? Like ones that are sagas?
Okay, well, see what you're setting me up to do is completely subjective, number one.
No, we gonna let the
No,
comments
you
decide.
did that when you didn't watch these movies.
Well, you're asking me to rank them by importance, and I can't necessarily do
Okay,
that.
don't do importance. Do random.
He doesn't even watch them. Why would they
Do
be
random.
important to him at all? Hold on, wait. I have a better idea. Let's name off some movies, and then he's going to say no.
Yeah,
How
sure.
about that?
Sure.
All right. Star Wars, any of them.
I have not.
I feel like he's on the stand.
Lord of the Rings, any of them.
I have not.
Back to the Future.
I have not.
What are some like other? Have you seen Avatar?
Which one?
The
There's only one.
Yeah, no, not the Airbender. Wait.
There's more than one.
Have you seen the Airbender one?
I have not.
Well,
have you
that's
seen
okay.
the one about the Navi and the blue people, James Cameron?
The James Cameron one. I have.
At least he's seen Avatar.
I will never watch it again. It was like 12 hours long.
Bobby, are we missing any movies? Harry Potter.
Wait. Have you seen any of the like cult classics, like the Michael Myers movies, like Halloween?
Which one?
Any of them.
Any of
There's
them.
like 18.
Yeah.
I think I watched part of one that came on Sci-Fi.
Have you seen any Friday the 13th?
Oh, well, when they came on Sci-Fi and I caught it in the middle of it, yes.
So technically, he's-
Nightmare on Elm Street.
I am familiar with Freddy Krueger. I probably have seen some of the movies.
I'm not asking to see so like name like how much of each movie have you seen? Like not even the full thing.
If you combine all of them together, I've seen a whole movie probably.
Oh my god!
All right, so you've not seen any of the Harry Potters, right?
I have not.
So I don't think there's hardly any other movies that really matter. You have seen, though. Let's give you a little bit of credit, a little bit of pat on the back. You've seen almost all the Marvel movies.
I have seen all of them.
All of them.
Every
multiple
one of them
times.
are. So he's an avid Marvel fan.
What about DC?
Okay, so the last DC movie I watched was the second Batman movie, the one with Heath Ledger.
Okay, that's a good one.
Oh yeah, that was that was probably the one that you should have watched.
I was thinking of Batman and Robin.
I know that's what I.
No. I didn't watch the first of that trilogy, and I refuse. I made a point not to watch the third of that trilogy because Bane should not look like Johnny with a mask and a British accent.
That's what I thought.
You missed bat nipples. Batman had nipples in that one.
Yeah,
right.
he did. He did have
was
nipples
great.
on his suit.
And he had like a nice defined like butt crack in his suit.
Well,
George Clooney.
Camel
Shout out
crack.
to him.
He had camel crack.
So continue, please.
Wait. What about some of the like classic movies over the years that were really good? Like, have you seen Gladiator with Russell Crowe?
I have not.
Wow, people are really not. I hope this goes viral.
Have you seen 300?
I have not.
Have you seen Saving Private Ryan?
I hope he got saved because I have not.
What the? Are you serious? What?
Does he get saved?
Okay,
Does he get saved in that?
Bobby, what do you do with your free time?
Oh wow, it just depends on the day, really.
So, do you watch movies on your free time?
I feel like this is a setup. But,
It is.
I do watch the occasional movie, yes.
What do you do mainly?
Other than work,
Yeah, like when you get home from work, being that you just have no interest, do you go on any Prime, Netflix?
okay. So here's the thing.
Where's your lack of desire?
Wow, that is quite the assumption. And I will say that I'll game some. I'll watch sports. I watch a lot of sports. So where my movies
we
lack
see.
off, I watch a lot of sports. But that being said, I have interest in hobbies. Just because I haven't seen the popular movies does not necessarily mean that I don't watch movies.
So you watch the obscure ones too?
Hold on.
Sure.
Have you seen Coach Carter?
Sports movies.
That was the one with Samuel L. Jackson. I did see that.
You
So
did
he
see
watches
that.
sports movies.
Okay. Well,
Like
let's name
Hoosier-
some more. Have you seen
Remember the
Remember the
Titans?
Titans?
Yeah, it was a great movie. I've seen it multiple times.
Have you seen The Replacements?
Absolutely. The Sandlot.
So he watches sports movies.
the-
That's what The Sandlot.
The Sandlot,
yes.
Radio, Waterboy.
Okay, I can
yeah.
get behind
The Longest
that
Yard
at
with Adam
least.
Sandler?
Yeah, okay.
Absolutely.
So like
Multiple
sports
times.
movies is where
Multiple
Bobby
times.
reigns.
So as soon as these Harry Potters and stuff put sports in their movies, you're gonna watch.
well, there was
Oh
they
my
had
gosh.
Quidditch.
yeah, why don't you watch Harry
Yeah.
Potter?
First of all, that's just
It's a real sport.
no.
People fly around on brooms and throw balls.
It's
in hoops.
Halloween soccer. That's dumb. That's dumb.
Oh, that's good.
It's like fantasy lacrosse. No one watches that.
Well, no one watches lacrosse anyways.
Yeah. What,
I would-
do you watch lacrosse?
Is that a sport you were interested in?
Oh no, I have standards. I couldn't do that. No offense to anybody that plays lacrosse or likes lacrosse. It's just
we don't
it's
care
not a
about
real
this.
Okay,
sport.
so this makes me feel a little bit better about Bobby not watching movies because at least there's some movies that he does like dive into and watch.
Pulp Fiction, right? Good movie.
Yeah.
Which one?
Haven't seen it.
I was making a joke thinking he had seen it.
I haven't.
I have not seen it.
Jaws. Haven't seen.
You
none
haven't
of them.
seen Jaws?
No, I know it's about a shark though.
E.T.
Yeah. It.
Okay, I haven't seen any movie that starts with a couple letters.
He's just gonna trash all of
No,
it.
if it has a few letters in it, I probably haven't seen it.
So you haven't seen what's this movie called with Jamie Foxx and Gerard Butler? A Law-Abiding Citizen.
I have seen that one.
You have see that's a good one.
That's a good one.
a really good
It's really
one.
good.
Yeah, that one you can't pass up. That one's a classic.
Spoiler alert: he dies. I'm not saying who, but he dies.
How is it a spoiler then?
All right, so I kind of want to jump into another topic. Recently, on the interwebs, specifically Twitter, Lady Gaga. Hey, pay attention here, Bobby.
I am.
You stop watching the game.
I'm not. My mother asked me if I was going to the carnival today, and I don't know what carnival she's talking
Is there a
about.
carnival in Shreveport?
I don't know.
I know there's a fair.
That maybe
Is it a carnival she's hosting?
I highly doubt it. By the way, I love you, Mom.
Yeah, we love you too, Bobby's mom.
Bobby's mom will love you.
Okay, so Lady Gaga recently tweeted out
Yes.
that she had no idea what Fortnite was.
Right.
I kind of want to jump in from that on why we, as the gamer guys, why did we stop playing Fortnite? Johnny, what is your reason for why we...
Do you want me to start this?
Yes.
Okay.
Johnny, you are an avid.
Hater of Fortnite.
Well, no, I was going to say he is a predominantly first-person shooter player.
That is true.
Mostly, yeah.
Right, and I don't mean that as in like exclusively, but
Yeah.
out of the three of us. So, in your opinion, why did you stop playing?
Well, first off, Fortnite's not first person; it's third person shooter.
And
Just
it's
to
not-
let you know.
See, he's so smart that he would know that.
Anyways, Fortnite started off, and I didn't play it for the first like 3 months that it was out, and even before, like in that time period, it was an even better game than when I jumped on it.
Why?
They started adding too much. It's a hard concept to follow when you have to build and fight at the same time. You're not looking for cover; you're creating your own cover.
Would you say it's just easier for PC people to play that because
God,
the buttons
yes.
are like right there?
And not only that, but when you're playing console and you have paddles, that alone, where you don't have to move your fingers off of the button, you can build a tower in like literally 1 second. You can build a 7-story tower in 1 second with paddles if you learn how to do it right. But it got to be too much when they started adding, like, they had this item called the Portal Rift, and it was a little snow globe that you could run around with and hit it, and it would portal you out and just make you fly wherever you want.
I think they have like armor suits that you can get in and fight with and shoot missiles. And they had this, they have like boats now.
Yeah.
You can fish.
You can throw down, it's called a portal castle. It's like a thing you throw down, and literally a castle spawns.
Yes, I remember that.
In the middle of you shooting each other, you can take time to fish in this game.
Yes, but I think you're fishing for like weapons
Yeah.
or compliments.
Fish for food or anything.
I'm notoriously bad at shooters. But as you say, when you started turning it into Call of Duty Minecraft, I was behind the curve to begin with. So
Yeah. Well, the beginning of it was a simple, basic idea: build your cover, fight, and that was pretty much it. You had guns, you had a few weapons here and there, some cool grenades, but that was it. That's all it should have stayed. It was a good idea for a game, but it just got to be too much.
So your premise or your stance is that they added way too much to the point where it diluted the content.
Yes.
What would you say, Josh?
Well, again, we played it when it first came out, we played it a lot. And we were actually winning quite a few matches. I remember all of us.
No.
You did a couple times. You were there. He was very supportive, emotional support. Thank you, Bobby. I just
Meat
couldn't
shield.
grasp my head around building and shooting. It was either I can shoot and that's it, or I can build and that's what I'm going to do for the game. I can't do both at the same time. It was either I'm doing Minecraft or I'm doing Apex Legends.
Yeah.
Like, that's where it's at.
And see, my thing is like, whenever I would get into a fight, because of course, I didn't like it, but I played it with friends, so of course I'm gonna try my best to get better at the game. So I got to a point where I was building fast. I could build a tower like quick, but it was like every time you get into a fight, it's like let's build, fight. And that's how it was. It got boring. So I would stop in like the middle of the build, and they're just still steadily going up. And I'm like, okay, well, I'm just going to wait here until they want to fight.
Johnny, you consider yourself competitive?
Yes.
A scale of 1 to 10, 10 being just ridiculously competitive.
Yeah, he's a 10.
Yeah, I'm probably like a 9 or a 10.
No, he's a 10.
I have a challenge for you, but we'll wait till next episode.
Oh, jeez. Well, it'll be a good little tidbit for people to come back.
I've got a challenge for you.
Just make sure you don't forget it.
Bobby?
I won't.
Did you say why you didn't like Fortnite?
Yeah, so I'm notoriously bad at shooters. Just the concept of, there's the target, let me shoot it. Oh, it's moving, game changer. So for me, it was the concept of, like you say, trying to build and shoot at the same time. I can't do that. I can't do Call of Duty Minecraft. I can't.
Call of Duty Minecraft.
I can sneak up on someone and shoot them when they're not looking, though. I'm pretty good at that.
Yeah.
But when it comes to just so I absolutely agree with the notion that there's too much in the game. I don't even know what the game's about at this point. I really don't. I saw a trailer on YouTube the other day. There was like a black hole or something.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
What even is it? What is that at this point?
I don't know.
But I couldn't. It didn't interest me. Was the
Sorry, everyone.
You
I
good?
was turning off the AC because it was bothering me. How's the baby? Oh,
she's asleep.
She's asleep. We
Yeah,
put her to
she's been
sleep.
asleep
The
for the
show's been a
past,
success.
Yeah.
Please continue, Bobby.
I don't like it.
Actually, an airplane is the first time I ever saw Parks and Recreations. I was on my way to California from Dallas, and they were playing it on the TV, and it was the episode where she goes to the teenager, they're throwing poop at each other.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah,
It's
the
cat
poop fight. Yeah, it's cat poop or dog poop out of the bin. But that was the first episode I watched, and I swear, like everybody was silent on the plane, and they had headphones so you could hear what was playing. I'm fucking laughing out loud. Sorry, I'm laughing so loud, like everybody is just kind of like looking back, like what the hell is going on? This is the first time I ever watched Parks and Rec. I was just in tears, cracking up. And as soon as I landed, I got to where I was going, and I turned on Parks and Rec and watched like the first 3 seasons the first day that I got into California.
I actually I didn't start watching Parks and Rec until after the first Guardians of the Galaxy movie, I believe it was.
Wow, so you were
Right, and here's
Chris Pratt era.
See, that's the thing.
Oh, wow.
That's the thing. I started watching because of Chris Pratt. Because I looked into after Guardians, I was like, man, I like this guy. This guy's pretty funny. What else has he done? This show called Parks and Recreation. And then I saw Aziz. I knew him from like stand-ups where I was like, oh, the two of them? This could be a pretty funny show. I remember the first season was just kind of, I'll wade through it. But then second season on, it was hilarious to me.
That's the same with The Office.
Yeah, in The Office, I didn't. I watched Parks and Rec before I watched The Office because I didn't really care for The Office too much. I have a love-hate relationship with Steve Carell. It's like
Why?
because it's just sometimes it's. I know his shtick is over the top, but sometimes it's a little too far and it goes on too long. Like if they would just cut him a little shorter, it would be much funnier.
Josh and I
disagree.
Josh and I have had this debate a couple of different times, and it spilled over on the Facebook once. I believe that Parks and Recreation is a better show than The Office.
Wrong.
No,
Johnny also
I
believes
agree.
that. Josh, however, and it's okay because it's an opinion and people have been wrong in their opinions before, but Josh holds to the fact that The Office is a superior show, and I will turn to you and ask why that is.
All right, so superior as far as writing and concept.
Wrong, but keep going.
Yeah.
Parks and Rec for the first 4 seasons, there isn't a lot of change. In the first 4 seasons of The Office, you have characters moving out. You have tons of conflict. And not only that, Steve Carell is very funny. Dwight, the guy who plays Dwight, is extremely funny.
I want to go back if you don't mind. You said
Humor is great.
You said the first 4 seasons of Parks and Recreation, nothing changes.
Not as drastically as The Office.
Hold on. Right.
Yes.
That's what I want to point out. The show was so unfunny that they had to change it time after time again to try to make something funny. With Parks, they found something that worked, and then they stuck with it. So, unlike...
That's an interesting pivot.
Sure.
I like that you did that. But to counter that, the changes that they made in The Office, if I can recall, from the 3rd season, is that Jim's character went away and was like, you know what, I'm going to find a different job because Pam was dating the same degenerate. And so he went away. Again, it's called character development and then character growth. And in that show, Parks and Rec, your characters don't really grow. They grow in the episode, but they don't carry it on. For instance, let's talk about Leslie, Ron, etc. What do they change as far as in the first 4 seasons? What do they actually change? Because I'll give you Michael Scott. He doesn't change in The Office.
But Dwight doesn't change either.
No. We'll
He does later on.
So,
First 4 seasons, Josh.
with Parks and Recreation, you have these characters changing in the way that they interact with one another. If you go back and look at the first 2 seasons, the Leslie and Ron relationship that is very very cold, and that's the humor in it. It's very the questions are usually close-ended. There's not a lot of expounding on anything because that's the humor in it, trying to pry something out of Ron and Leslie, being annoying to Ron. However, once you get to season 3 and on, Ron starts to open up to Leslie, and the characters start to foster a better relationship with one another. So they do change in the way they interact with one another. Now, there's not a dynamic change in personalities because that's called writing a character differently because they weren't funny to begin with.
No.
Like The Office.
That's not how it works.
Also, I will say, like, if you watch like the first 2 seasons of Parks and Rec, Andy comes off as a bit of a douche. He's not
does.
terribly funny. He's just like
But you're
annoying
just
and like
proving his
persistent.
point. Like
no.
saying that they just completely wrote a different character.
No,
then.
no.
He started off a douche
Andy-
and then changed into a bumbly idiot.
No. Andy grows. Andy grows.
That's what I'm saying. Characters grow, but he's saying no, they're just writing a different character because it's unfunny.
No. You're saying there's no growth in Parks and Rec.
And you're making it seem as though
Well, I
The
said that as
Office-
a pretty bold statement. There is obviously growth, but I think there's more growth in The Office.
So you're saying there's not enough change in Parks and Rec?
Yeah, it's always the same. And again, that's great for some viewers where they want to see what to expect. Like, hey, I'm going to come and watch this. They're just doing their thing at Parks and Rec. In The Office, they made dramatic changes to the characters. I'll give you the last 2 seasons of The Office were, they were terrible. My wife will probably disagree, but I didn't think they were very good. But those other ones, classics. Season 3 in particular, one of the best seasons of a comedy show that you could actually see.
I love The Office. I got into
I love
it after
Parks
Parks
and
and Rec, but just Parks and Rec as a show is so much more structured and it's so much like better to me with the characters and the development and everything. With The Office, there is change with characters moving away and stuff, but it's kind of like Bobby said, they had to rewrite characters. They didn't just have to drastically change them.
No, well, again, it's about not doing the same thing over and over every season. You can't have a character from last season acting the same way this new season because where is the development? You can't, like, for instance.
So what you're wanting was for Leslie to drop out of the government and follow some other passion or something, because that's what the movie was, or that show was about. It was her building into her passion in government. And where's that going to change much as far as the plot line?
I can't say, but I do know that there's a lot other things that they could have done that The Office did.
Like what?
So, for instance, I think there was a season where Steve Carell gave up his position and became a salesperson for the show. Instead of being a manager, he decided to be a salesperson because he found out that there was no limitations to how much money you can get on if you sell something, you get a percentage of it. So he decided to step down and be a salesperson. To me, that shows funny humor. It's the opposite of his personal growth. He's going down a level just so he can get money because of greed. So it shows a different part of Steve Carell's character. And again, I know there's going to be arguments as far as well, Leslie did this and this. But I think it was funnier, in my opinion, when Steve Carell did that. My case is that The Office is funnier than Parks and Rec. And the writing was more clever. That's my case that I'm giving.
I don't know if it was more clever. They just had a different dynamic of characters.
It's a different
But if we have to compare, that's why I'm comparing.
Parks and Recreation and The Office. They're different brands of comedy. It's not the same ha-ha factor. Typically, the jokes in The Office it's not the same kind of dialogue you're going to have in Parks and Recreation. It's not. Because I feel like The Office...
It's probably more relatable in The Office because that's an everyday job somewhat.
Well, it's meaner in The Office.
And look, I'll let you two speak on this because I've watched a couple episodes and it just wasn't for me and I don't have seasons of information. But The Office's humor for the episodes I saw was very dry and very goading you into, oh, that's funny. I never laughed out loud at The Office. Do you laugh out loud at The Office?
Yes.
Okay. Can you give me an example?
There's an episode where Dwight thinks that everyone is inadequate when it comes to fire drills. So he starts a pretend fire and locks all the doors.
Okay. I did see a clip of that.
They throw a cat through the ceiling.
I mean, there's certain moments there is.
That made me chuckle. When the cat got thrown into the roof, that made me laugh.
You are right, though, is that The Office is much more dry humor and much more like, I don't want to say slapstick because, I mean, they kind of are, but like how Steve Carell is that old SNL, let's scream and yell and be weird.
Devil's avocados here. Steve Carell, to me, is the funniest part of that show. That's why I like it so much.
And that's probably why you didn't like the later seasons, right?
Yes, he was not in it. Parks and Rec it seems to me, not that it's more family friendly. It just doesn't go to that dark sense of humor. Parks and Rec doesn't go dark. It's always upbeat, happy. The Office does. The Office goes pretty dark.
You know what? I'll say there were a few episodes where it did go dark. The overall, though, you're right.
Yeah, I was gonna say The Office is probably a little more dark than Parks and Rec.
Yeah.
But I mean, that's again your plot line there because they're public service.
Yeah, Leslie's a more upbeat, happy, complimenting people.
Yeah. Well, she's trying to help the public. Mm-hmm. So but it does go dark in Parks and Rec every once in a while.
For me, the humor was in when it comes to Parks and Rec. The humor for me, the reason I liked it is the dialogue with the characters and the interactions with each other for me was very much how my life was and how I interact with people. So I kind of, in certain ways, it maybe Anne and Andy interact, or Leslie and Ron. I've had those interactions with people. I still do that to this day. So I guess it was a little bit more relatable to me on the dialogue spectrum. Like the way Chris Pratt's character is, I am very much like that sometimes. So it's like, oh, hey, I could see myself doing that. Same with Ben. I love, there's like a running gag with Parks and Rec. Whenever something absurd happens, Ben has a,
Yeah, he looks right into the camera.
that is, like
his is perfect too.
the most relatable facial expression. Like,
It's usually when they're talking about little Sebastian, and
Yeah, it's
she's
like-
like, "You've learned to come around," and he's like, "Yep."
I'll say this for Parks and Rec: when Ben joined, that's when the show got better for me.
yes, I agree.
Once he joined.
I agree. I was never a fan of
Yeah,
Ben
him
Edwards.
and Rob Lowe coming in, Adam Scott and Rob Lowe coming in was
That really
a
helped.
huge,
Because that was a
step
big
up.
change.
Yeah.
They added a change to their show finally.
I would I don't know if you guys have looked into it. I would recommend watching The Good Place. It's
Melissa
ma-
likes that. I've tried it.
it's made by the same people that made Parks and Rec, and it's got some of those characters in it.
So wait, is
It has Kristen Bell in it.
Rashida Jones is one of the writers or something?
I believe so.
Yeah.
But the guy, I'm blanking on his name. The guy that plays Ben, he's in it.
Adam Scott.
Yes, Adam Scott. I knew it was something Scott. For some reason, I kept saying
It's
Steve
two
Carell.
first names, yeah.
Right. But no, it's a pretty funny show, and it's like I said, it's made by the same people that made Parks, so it's pretty funny.
Yeah.
It's now I'm not gonna say I've just died laughing at it, but I like it.
Melissa likes it. I haven't really given it a true shot.
So I just want to bring this up real quick. You're not a very big Rick and Morty fan.
I have not seen an episode.
Not one episode.
I have not.
Do you
I
like
feel
Rick
like
and Morty,
you would
right?
really like. Yeah, I've seen every episode
Yeah.
like 3 or 4 times. You would really
Yeah.
like Rick and Morty. What's
I-
stopping you?
Okay. Some of the clips I've seen of Rick and Morty. Okay. Not to offend any fans or Johnny.
Oh no, you're about to offend the hell out of me.
I find that the humor in Rick and Morty, from the snapshots I've seen, I want to stress that from the clips I've seen,
So early to judge.
has been very high school boys' bathroom humor. It makes no sense. It's just stupid to be stupid. I feel like they try too hard with the jokes, and I feel like the humor is for those that find poop jokes funny, and that's it.
That's a great
No,
description.
is there not a character called Mr. What?
Poopy butthole.
Has nothing to do with a butthole or poop at all, by the way. That's just the name.
Okay, well,
Mr. So early to judge.
And again, I've even prefaced this the third time saying I've seen snapshots and clips. It's just it doesn't appeal to me. It's not funny.
I just think it's funny that he's talking about dumb humor. This coming from the guy who says random. He just said it doesn't make sense, but you joke like that all the time. You say shit that does not make sense at
But
all.
is Bobby making a TV show?
He wants to. Anyways,
I've never wanted
Rick
to
and
make a TV
Morty
show.
has very intelligent jokes and plot lines. There are moments where, of course, there's, Rick likes to, mess around and be stupid and stuff.
Let's
There's-
give Bobby some homework. How about this? You watch the first season and give it an actual judgment.
Where can I watch the first season?
Hulu.
Yeah, you can watch it on Hulu. Yeah.
I guarantee
Yeah.
you do.
If you don't,
give
we
it
can
a
give you
try.
one.
I guarantee you after the first episode, you'll be like, this is more than just poop jokes.
How long is an episode?
Like 20 minutes.
Yeah, they're only 20 minutes long.
How many episodes are in the first
I
season?
think the first season has 7 or 8.
Yeah, it's not that long.
Okay, I'll give it a shot. I will give it a shot and report back by episode 2 of this.
I would want to hear this on the podcast.
You have
only.
to at least
Don't
watch
say
the
anything to
first
us
season.
outside of it.
The first season.
No,
you have to at least watch the whole first season.
I will watch the first season so that way I can hate it justifiably or have my mind changed.
You know, a show that I really just don't like, and I have tried and tried numerous times, is Brooklyn Nine-Nine. I cannot get into
What?
Brooklyn Nine-Nine.
Okay.
I just cannot.
All right, hold on, because I'm
Almost woke my child up.
I'm somewhat with Josh on this, but not entirely. Here's okay.
I feel betrayed.
I love Andy Samberg.
Look, listen.
I feel so
There's a
betrayed.
fine line between loving it and not liking it at all, and boy, am I on that line because there are certain episodes. Because me and Marissa have gotten into it. There are certain episodes that I'll midway through it just be on my phone because it's not funny.
Yes.
But hold on, but I've had episodes where I'm like, this is hilarious. So maybe it gets better or more consistent. But
I watched the whole first 2 seasons, and I there's episodes, but there are moments in the episodes where I'm like, that was funny. That was a funny bit.
I feel like I was just about to say that. I feel like it's more of a clip show. Like you find clips on the internet or on YouTube of, hey, this is from that episode, and those are funny. But I have yet to find an episode that I'm in love with.
I watch this show almost as much as I watch Parks and Rec.
Okay.
I love this show. Like before the show, I hated Andy Samberg. Like maybe not as a person, but like as an actor, I couldn't get behind his movies too much because he was just. It was that like college, or it was that boys' bathroom humor bull crap. You know, I just couldn't get behind it. Like Hot Rod was one of the most awful movies I'd ever seen.
Oh my God, that's a great movie.
I've watched it.
What is that?
Hot Rod. It's another thing. We'll give you homework on that another day.
I watched it again when I was a little older, and I was probably doing some things I shouldn't have been doing, and it was hilarious. It was a funny movie, but like Andy Samberg's humor, like, the Lonely Island Boys, I don't really like that. I don't really like comedy rap.
It's not called the Lonely Island.
Lonely
whatever
Island
it's
Boys.
called. I don't even pay attention.
Come to the island of lonely boys.
So I'm not a fan of comedy rap too much, honestly. And
Although we did a comedy rap song.
yeah, well, I'm a fan when we do it. I like when we do it.
Links to Putt Putt right here.
So when I watched Brooklyn Nine-Nine, I like in tears almost every episode. It was just so funny, and like the humor between all the characters and the development that they have with all those characters are freaking hilarious to me. Like I don't see how you guys don't like this.
The actors are not that convincing to me.
I was gonna go that route. The actors for me, they haven't cemented themselves to me in their roles. Now, again, I told you I'm not like Josh. I'm not fully against it just yet. I'm on the line of it can be funny, but I'm not sold on it.
How many seasons are there?
Like
could-
six.
I think
tell
there's
you.
6. At least
I
get.
watched 2 of them.
I know, but like watch that
Watch
third.
all of them.
Just get to the third. Just get to your homework is watching the third season.
Just
And if
watch
you-
every
if you
show
like it-
openly and love it, and then we'll.
I'm Josh. There's so many moments in there, and like so many episodes that you would just love, and I know you
Well,
would.
here's the thing,
I didn't
I-
know you didn't watch this freaking show.
Brooklyn Nine-Nine, I don't know, that humor just strikes me odd. I like Parks and Rec way more than I like Brooklyn Nine-Nine. But I like, even more than The Office, is Community.
Oh, I love
That
Community.
show, Community, is one of my all-time favorites.
You haven't seen it, have you? No.
That's another one. We'll
We'll
get to that.
Here's what's funny. I actually have been thinking about this lately, and I've been asking certain people. Whenever I ask somebody if they watch Community, and I don't know if it's because it's the same writer or creator, or if it's just like coincidence, but like people that watch Community usually watch Rick and Morty. But people that don't watch either of those don't watch the other. It's weird. Like I've never found somebody that's like, "Oh, I've seen Community. Oh, have you seen Rick and Morty?"
So
No.
They're both very weird. They can get weird.
Yeah.
so it's the same humor.
No.
It's not the same humor, no.
Very similar plot structure as far as the same writing style, because Dan Harmon does a specific circle writing style that I can dive into later. I got to go push record on that. You guys can keep talking. Let me just say, we have very big disagreements. You need to watch that show, Rick and Morty, and we'll leave it at that.
You know, the grass is not always greener on the other side. I'll say that.
And speaking of grass,
No one was. Well, I guess I kind of.
you're now
You
a
just were.
homeowner, right?
Yes, I
So,
own a home.
how's it like cutting your grass? Do you love that?
I wish, and I've jokingly told this to my wife multiple times. I was like, "Hey, what if we just set our grass on fire? That way, we never have to cut it again." As a joke, but the moment she says yes, also probably jokingly, I'm setting our lawn on fire because I hate cutting grass. Like, I get home from work and then I immediately cut the grass because I try to not save it for my off days or days where I'm not doing anything, because that's my day and I don't want to spend it cutting grass.
you're not gonna do
So
it.
I'll be out there. The last time I cut grass, I got home around like 5 or 6. I was cutting my backyard when it was pitch black because I refused to cut it the next day. So I don't like cutting grass. Sorry, I know.
To your luck, I guess, I saw just like last week, there's a new app that came out that's like Uber, but it's for people cutting grass, and it's called Green Pal. And what you do is you get the app.
What?
You get the app, and then you download it, and you push a button, I guess, and then it shows you a list of people who will come to your house and cut your grass. And we're not endorsed by Green Pal, by the way. That's just something that was started.
But
in
we
Shreveport.
could be.
We could be. We'll talk about this all the time.
Yeah. I'm curious. Have you ever mowed a lawn?
Oh yes, I have. I hate
Really?
it so much that
Where?
my house.
Like your house now?
Yes,
You have to mow it?
I pay the whatever neighborhood to mow the front lawn, but I have to mow the back lawn.
You mow your
Oh, that's-
backyard is like 5 feet of grass, Josh.
And it takes me a while to do it. See, here, I pay people to mow the backyard.
Do you cut the grass at your home every season?
I let it get
Just
pretty long.
4 times a year.
Basically, like right now, it's winter and it's pretty long, and I'm like, I don't want to go out
So
there.
you own a lawnmower?
Yes, I think I do. That's how much I don't mow. I don't know if I own one. I pay people to mow the backyard because I don't like doing that.
It's like 5 feet of yard.
Yeah, but you realize you gotta push it back and forth, and then you gotta do
No,
the
we
edges.
understand the concept of cutting grass. I don't think anyone that watches this does not understand what cutting grass is.
It's so boring.
So
No, it is. But that's why I listen to my podcast or Spotify or whatever while I'm mowing the lawn.
Do you have a riding lawnmower?
No, I have
You
a
have a
push mower.
push.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
I have an
the
interesting
worst.
story. I grew up with a stepdad that was like really OCD, and so he would mow the lawn. If I ever mowed it, he would just bitch at me because it wasn't right. Like the lines would be off in the circles, and it'd be just off.
Okay.
So he would get done, and he would go to the side of the grass and look at it to make sure all of it was even. And if there was a couple sticking up, he would take scissors and clip the ones that were sticking up.
All right. So I'll say this. That's another reason I don't like cutting grass because when I'm doing that, I can kind of be that way in the sense that like
He's a perfectionist.
I'll cut the grass and then I'll weed eat. Like there's a pathway that goes up our driveway and then makes a right and then makes another left and then goes into our doorway. I will weed eat the edges of the grass along the pathway to make sure it's like super symmetrical. And if anything stands out, I will literally just like pluck those. Like it's a problem.
Oh, Bobby's got the
you got an
issues.
issue, dude.
Yeah,
those them are them issues.
I don't-
Which you should probably just do the green belt thing.
Yeah.
You don't have to worry about it.
No, I
We're
was
not trying to
gonna
get
say-
sponsored, by the way.
No, we're not. It'd be nice, but
What other things do you think we could kind of think of that comes to an Uber-like service that we would like to have delivered to our house? Because now they have grass cutting, apparently. You can get food.
Grass cutting.
Yeah. What is something that you would like instantly brought to your house?
Wait, so like, are Uber drivers going to have to be like multi experience? Yeah, multi experience
so the
now.
Uber driver keeps a lawnmower in his trunk and like has your food on the passenger seat.
I was gonna say
Like,
Uber
hey,
Eats.
I brought you your Wendy's. I'm gonna cut your grass now.
Yeah, after I'm done, I'm going to take you to work.
Is there a service? Because I can think of like
Just-
And they still get like a $4 tip for all that.
Yeah, it's just like we'll call it Uber partner, and we'll just like that's your dude for the day. Like you can make them do whatever the hell you want.
I feel like this is a good stopping point for us. I think we've covered a lot of ground in this episode. Episode 1. We'd like to thank our guest, Violet, for being on.
She's asleep right now. I'm not going to pick her
Very
up.
asleep. Bobby, thank you.
Thank you.
Johnny, thank you.
Yeah, no problem. This
And
was
this has
fun.
been Lovely Talks. We'll see you next week.
It was a lovely talk.
Possibly.
Possibly. And cut.